Hi, it's Craig here, Product Development Manager for BlueWorx at Zag. Welcome to this highlights video of our BlueWorx Support Pack 8 release. In it, I will cover some of the major innovations and improvements we've made in the support pack. Here are the areas that we'll work through and explain as we go. From time to time, I may switch from the core BlueWorx app to the BlueWorx configuration and inspection viewer apps. Bear in mind, there is more in this release than what I'm highlighting in this video, and all the changes are detailed in the release notes and where appropriate our online documentation. So let's get started. Okay, so the first feature we'll have a look at is that we've elevated bills of materials for order objects. So I'll go and show you a prepped order that we'll follow through. And now in our objects list, we have a new bill of materials button here that surfaces any bill of materials that are maintained for the technical object, be that functional location or equipment. It just saves the operator, if they're trying to find components or to order parts, of having to drill down into the equipment in order to assess whether there's a BOM and then select items from it. The next item is now the order document assignments. And previously what we had was support for the general object services document in the order header, but we now support the documents coming through from SAP document management system as well. So in this order, I have an SAP document management system document at the order header. I have general object services document, and I also have an operational PRT document that's come through, and we can see that over in SAP. So here's our order in the SAP, and if we go and have a look at first at the documents, additional data, here's my document assignments at the order header level, so that's a SAP document management system item, and our existing functionality was around the general object services, and we can see that document coming through, same as it always did. And there's the PRT document that exists as well, which is showing here. So the next change is that if you've added a measurement point as an operational PRT, and you may have seen that on the previous screen, then the resultant measurement document will record the order and the operation in it. So here's my reading point. I'll come in, add some hours, and save it, and it's now recorded that I've taken that measurement within that work order for that PRT. So that's a handy function if you're using measurement points in that way. So this one's a direct request from one of our customers to have that functionality available. The next innovation item is the addition of a filter panel to the notification and asset list screens to bring them in line with the order and map functionality that we released in Service Pack 7. So now if I come into notifications, I have a filter, dynamic filter that allows me to do searches on the values represented, and I also have the ability to save those and apply them as a favorite. Going back home and then into the asset list, similar sort of thing. Search on types or filter on types, and have the ability to use my filter to filter the list. Speaking of side panels, the map panel now has the ability for you to save your searches as favorites. So if I come in and select functional locations to display, maybe have a look at a plant site and apply that. That's existing functionality, and then now I can go and save that. And have it available for my use later. The next change is that we've updated all the date and time fields in lists and forms to have a consistent formatting and for this to be able to be changed by the user through their device settings. So if we come up into settings, device settings, date, time and format, then we offer a number of values that are available for forms and lists in terms of the date and also the time. The next item is that we've enabled checks on the upper and lower limits for measurement documents. So if I come into to my favorite equipment, come into a measurement point that I've maintained this for, temperature, and take a reading. then it's going to, in this case, warn me of the lower and upper limit. And that's making use of the SAP maintain settings for the measurement point category as to whether that is a warning or an error. Also in the maps area, we've improved the visibility around the draw feature button. So I'll go back into the work order that I was in before. Go into maps, and we can see we've got an annotation there. If I go in and edit the map, here's my annotation, but I can select to draw the feature from down here and go and add them instead of the button being located up here, which was a little bit hard to find. So another improvement that we've made is that if you're disconnected from the internet and can't have access to online maps, we'll now display which of the maps are available offline through this symbol. So the next area, there's not so much to show, and it's around optimization syncing with SAP. So previously, if you were carrying out a full sync and it was interrupted for some reason, then the next sync would again be a full one. Now, where a sync progresses past a given point successfully, the next sync will be a delta. We've also optimized the performance by now assessing the last time that the sync tables were changed when we were determining what we call delta syncs, rather than assessing every record in what can be some very large tables. Now let's switch to BlueWorx Admin and see what changes we've made here. The first is that we now allow you to choose whether to upload your documents to SAP General Object Services, which was our previous default option, or SAP Document Management System. So under Documents, in the settings, that's controlled right here, where we have the ability to either use the GOS doc or in fact a custom source for you to control with your own code. And if you're using the document management system, then a default document management type and storage category. So the next change is just to make maintaining users a little easier, and it allows me from one record to go and copy all the profiles that have been signed to another user and copy those back in. So it just helps you if you're setting up a whole heap of users and you've done a lot of work to work out what profiles they need to go and copy from one user to another. Moving into the inspection configuration area, and for the inspection template, we've now made the job a little bit easier by providing help values for all of the fields or all the appropriate fields in that area. And we allow you to now copy an inspection or an inspection group so that you can more easily maintain your inspections. Now that doesn't copy any of the long text translations, because logically, if you're making a new inspection, you should be reviewing and maintaining those as a separate step. Also in inspections, we've now provided the ability for you to block the previously automated responses being processed in SAP until they've been cleared by an authorized user. So if we come in to an inspection and maybe have a look at the description, equipment description, we can see this new setting, which at the moment says require review, and the reviewer needs to have this SAP authorization object or whatever it is that you specify with your SAP security team. So let's go and have a look at that over in the application. Okay, so I'm back over in the main application, and let's go and update an asset description. Going to pick on this sign, and I can see it's a road sign for merge. And I'm going to go and update the description for that. I don't want to do any other answers to this, so I'll just complete that and then synchronize with SAP. Move that into the background and move over to BlueWorx admin. So I just go into the inspection log, and I can see that the question that we just answered is awaiting review, which is the new status. Drill into that, and I have the ability to either approve the change, reject it, or edit it. So we can actually see here's the new value here. And so if you had some standards and this was going via somebody in charge of master data management, they may want to go in and make sure that it conforms to whatever naming conventions you have, and they could actually go and edit it. At this stage, I'm just going to leave it alone and save and approve it. And what that will have done is updated that I was the reviewer and the time that I did it. And that change has been successful. And I next sync with SAP. The updated equipment will come through to the device. So the final change that I wanted to show you was just some improvements that we've done in the maintain map settings area. Now when you're configuring the layers, so these are ArcGIS layers, is that we've revised the screen, and you can now, so we can go into one of these and we can now maintain all the details and the layer fields all in one place. And we're now assisted by a layer field wizard, which calls the ArcGIS service definition and returns all the available fields for you to go and add back in, and then go and edit it from there. Well, that concludes the updates for Support Pack 8. Please remember to review the release information for a full list of all the changes. Also check out the BlueWorx support site for further information on new and improved functionality. I'd like to thank our customers for requesting and inspiring many of the changes in this release. I hope that you like what you've seen and that it offers some additional value to your organisation. Thank you for your time.